Hi everyone, Edison Vasquez Combre. I hope everyone is doing well. Thanks for watching us. We appreciate your following. Today we're discussing things industrial tenants should not negotiate. Negotiating lease terms is a normal process towards a lease agreement. Tenants and landlords go back and forth on lease terms and lease rates. However, there are terms that tenants should not negotiate. The reason is that negotiating on these terms can raise concerns with the landlords and cause delays at the moment of signing a lease agreement. Here we explain. Number one, and most important, is security deposit. Landlords will require security deposit to tenants based on the financial history or credit history of the company. It can range from no security deposit all the way to a year or more of security deposit depending on the company. When tenants start negotiating aggressively on security deposit, it raises concern to landlords as to the financial position of the tenant. So when we're negotiating, we always suggest to tenants to accept the security deposit the landlord is requesting or to try to minimize that negotiation, as it can cause delays and can raise unnecessary flags with the landlord. So remember, when negotiating, try to not aggressively negotiate the security deposit or accept the security deposit that the landlord is requesting. Number two is fixed rent. Normally, on a lease agreement, there are annual increases or annual escalations every year. We've seen many times when tenants request fixed rent for the term of the lease. In this case, no increases from year one until the end of the lease. We think this becomes unrealistic expectations for tenants and causes unnecessary delays and raises flags with the landlord. So at the moment of negotiating, we suggest to tenants not to request fixed rents and accept and negotiate a lower annual increase or try to minimize that annual increase with the landlord. This will help negotiations move faster and get to the lease agreement as quickly as possible. Number three is a termination clause. A termination clause gives the power or the right to the tenant to terminate a lease under certain conditions or after a certain time. Although helpful to the tenant, it creates challenges for the landlord as the landlord will have an empty space under an uncertain time. So negotiating a termination clause is a skill or it can be challenging during the market. So when we are advising tenants, we suggest that they try to avoid a termination clause as this will give us a disadvantage when negotiating, especially in a competitive market when the landlord may have multiple tenants looking at that space and the landlord will likely go with a company that doesn't have a termination clause. Now, what happens if the tenant needs to terminate the lease or needs to exit before the lease? The other option is to sublease the space. So always consider that at the moment of negotiating. So if the landlord is not offering you a termination clause, you can always sublease the space if you need to vacate or relocate or expand the space. So try to avoid a termination clause as this will cause delays and it might lose you the space because the landlord might go with another tenant. The last one is holdover charges. Holdover charges is what the landlord will charge tenant if the tenant needs to stay for short term after the expiration of the lease. It can be a month, 2 months, or short term after the lease expiration. The charges can range from 150% to 200% depending on what's negotiated. This is very standard language and very standard charges. And tenants should not try to aggressively negotiate or delete these from the lease as it will create friction for the landlord. Tenants should concentrate on bigger items and other terms on the lease rather than the holdover charges and accept or try to minimize that annual increase at the term of the lease. Hope this helps and thanks for following us, our team, our leaders, and the leasing and sales of industrial space here in South Florida. Please visit our website at warehousesmarket.com for more information and to check our listings on industrial properties. Take care, be safe. Thanks for watching and thanks for following us. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel to get the latest videos on industrial real estate. You can follow us on social media on LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. You can always visit our website, warehousesmarket.com, for all the information on industrial real estate and our latest listing. We look forward to hearing from you.